in Chicago. Everybody gotta get down. Everybody gotta get down because they shooting. Everybody down. Look, these kids are running. They shooting. We can't have no fun in Chicago, man. No fun, man. This is terrible. I ought to throw a goddamn flag. Cause this y'all neighborhood.
This might be over with, because I gotta figure this out, man.
In today's video, we're talking about the city of Chicago, following a bloody Labor Day weekend where over 50 people were shot and 8 reported dead. Crime spinning out, and the federal government ready to send the National Guard in. Are local city leaders really being honest about what's going on? We'll hear from those who actually live in Chicago and live and experience what's going on every single day. So stay tuned.
It has been a violent holiday weekend in Chicago, including a shooting tonight near Montrose Beach, where police tell us a man was hit in the arm. The number of people shot looks like it will be double the same weekend last year. And all of this while Chicago is under the microscope. City leaders waiting to see if President Trump will send in the National Guard this week. We have team coverage tonight, starting with our Sabrina Franza. And Sabrina, we're still waiting on official totals from CPD.
Erica, we are, but our calculations count at least 50 people who've been shot over this Labor Day weekend. 7 people lost their lives, making an unofficial end to a summer that has otherwise been groundbreaking for crime numbers, violent crime numbers specifically being at an all-time low.
How many people that were shot?
5 total shot.
Early this morning, police responded to a third mass shooting in Chicago over the weekend, this one on the 3600 block of Cottage Grove. 4 firearms were recovered, and each victim, all between the ages of 17 and 36, were taken to the hospital and are expected to survive. About 24 hours prior, another mass shooting on the 2700 block of Haddon. 4 people injured there. A few hours before that, a block away from Chicago's public safety headquarters, 7 people were shot. Police say multiple suspects drove by a large crowd, and at least one person started firing into that group. Those 16 victims, part of a larger group of more than 50 people, all who were injured in different shootings across the city this weekend. 7 people lost their lives.
Who cares if crime's down when you have that kind of statistic?
Patty Casey is a former Chicago police commander. She says she welcomes the National Guard so long as they don't interfere with local police.
The National Guard is there to deter, they're there to support. They are not there to take over policing.
Mayor Brandon Johnson has repeatedly pointed out that violent crime numbers are down this year compared to last year. This Labor Day weekend, though, we saw nearly double the number of shooting victims compared to last. Experts say the last few days could be used as a reason why the president chooses to send in federal agents.
We don't have a need for a national presence here, but this past weekend is going to be the precipitant to give Trump the opportunity to bring in the National Guard.
Tomorrow, the Illinois Freedom Caucus, that's made up of state lawmakers who support the National Guard coming to Chicago, are hosting a press conference with victims of gun violence, explaining exactly why they think those agents could be used here. As we mentioned, we're also expecting to hear more from Chicago police tomorrow at some point. We'll bring that to you as soon as we have it. We're outside CPD headquarters. Sabrina Franza, CBS News, Chicago.
Sabrina, thank you.
And so if you let Mayor Brandon Johnson report the news, he'll tell you all about how the crime rate is down in the city of Chicago. Yet, 2025's Labor Day weekend saw nearly double the amount of shootings than it did in 2024. And so how many 17-year-old boys who will never reach their fullest potential have to lose their life before something is actually done?
Children can't walk around the community without fear of being hurt or kidnapped or having a drive-by. So it's what these numbers that they're expressing, we don't feel it in our quality of life.
I don't think y'all seen the videos with the YNs getting chased by the police, and then they ended up chasing the police. These little ninjas is different. I'm just saying.
So the government is threatening to send the National Guards to Chicago. And I feel conflicted about it. And the reason why I feel conflicted about it is because, once again, everyone is looking for law enforcement, political figures, school teachers, etc., to handle the problems that Chicago is encountering. Majority of the problems that Chicago is encountering are these young people running around acting like goddamn animals. They acting like maniacs. And you know why? Due to lack of parenting. Yes, lack of structure. So if you're going to send the National Guards in, send the National Guards to their goddamn homes, to the parents. Hold the parents accountable. I don't know, lock them up. Charge them. Start making them pay fines. I don't know. I don't have the solution. But I really don't think that the National Guards are the solution. I don't think the Chicago police are the solution. The Chicago police officers want to go home just like we want to go home every day. They want to feel safe as well. They are here to serve and protect us. That's what they're supposed to do. They're not here to raise your children. They're not here to do that. And the National Guards are not supposed to do that. National Guards are trained for combat. They're trained for war. They're not trained for handling no young person. These YNs out here acting like goddamn fools. The parents are supposed to do that. So if we want to start doing something, let's hold these parents accountable. You got some shitty ass parents out here. You can't tell me that you don't know that John bringing guns in your house. You can't tell me that you don't know that he's smoking weed in your house. You can't tell me that you so oblivious that you don't realize he's out in the streets 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and he's 13, 14 years old. No. It starts in the household. I have clients who are school teachers, clients who are Chicago police officers. They are all saying the things that they encounter with these parents. These parents suck. Parents your goddamn children. So if you're going to bring the National Guards in, find a way to hold these parents accountable. Find a way to go after their asses. That's all I'm saying. Because I don't think bringing the National Guards in is going to stop crime. I don't. Unless you really tackle the problem. The problem are the parents.
Exactly. It's always come back to the parenting where you're talking about 13-year-old boys, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, young men walking around with handguns, flashing semi-automatics on TikToks because they think it's cool. Not wanting to listen to authority, harassing and terrorizing working class people. Yeah, it comes back to the parenting. But how do you force someone who has been a shitty parent for years now? How do you force them to actually do a better job now that their child is 14, 15? They haven't been listening to them. They haven't been enforcing any rules or enough rules on their children for all these years. And now you think they're going to change. No. And so what it's really about are the working class people, like the gentleman who said he can't even have his kids outside because he's worried about a drive-by. It's really about just the everyday people who just want a little bit more peace as they walk through their neighborhood and don't have to feel like they may lose their life because of it.
So according to the crime stats in Chicago, during the Labor Day weekend, there has been 53 shootings in the city of Chicago. I think a few of those people were unalived. And as this go on, the mayor of Chicago, the incompetent mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, still believes that there is no crime problem in Chicago. He actually believes that his administration has lowered crime in Chicago. 53 shootings during the weekend, the Labor Day weekend, and crime is down. And still, he wants to fight against Donald Trump and the federal government coming in with the National Guard to help. On top of removing illegal immigrants and criminals who have snuck in this country illegally, they would actually help clean up the streets, and he's against that. So if he's against safety and security in the city of Chicago, he's against the people of Chicago. He sat there on MSNBC and said that there was no crime problem, yet that was not corroborated by any of the residents in the city of Chicago, because they've been saying otherwise. So who is he really taking his orders from? Because it's not the people of Chicago.
When I'm out of town, I never tell nobody from Chicago, because the first thing y'all gonna say is, 63rd, we're not, shut the f*** up. There's a worse block, worse than, it's been bad since I was a little kid. It's called 79th. The whole goddamn thing. It stretches far as fuck. Yeah, have fun over there. You want me to take you to the hood? I'll take you to the hood.
The quiet part out loud about Chicago. There are people who, like myself, were born and raised in the city of Chicago. Is it dangerous here? Yes, it's dangerous here. Are we generally desensitized to the amount of violence that goes on here? To some extent, yes. However, Chicago is one of them cities that what you live by is what you die by. Good, bad, or indifferent. What you win by is what you lose by. Sometimes when things happen in the city of Chicago, it's not a coincidence and it's not a shock to us, because if you be outside doing bullshit, gonna find you. Because you be outside doing. In all my years of being a Chicago native, there are a lot of things I've never dealt with because I don't be outside entertaining certain shit. I also have a really good spidey senses. I know when to leave. I don't always need to prove a point to a stranger. There are some common sense things that were put into my head that have kept me alive. And you got it, big dog, is one of them. Some people have a hard time and a hard life in Chicago because they go outside, they do bullshit, they get involved with people who do bullshit. They be attached to things that have brought them nothing but bullshit. Not even no money and bullshit, but just bullshit. When y'all speak on Chicago, keep that in mind.
Listen, I think there's a lot of validity to what she's saying as far as how to avoid things if you don't want any part of that lifestyle. But the reality is criminals just don't target other criminals when they're looking to commit criminal activity. They're also out here terrorizing working class, everyday people who end up becoming victims to their crimes.
You know the reason that the governor of Illinois and the mayor of Chicago don't really care about the crime and they're pretending like it doesn't exist? Because it's mostly isolated to the South Side. It's isolated to the regions where black people are the majority. This is where the crime. You guys are killing each other. Why would they care? How could that matter to them? There are no civilians in their eyes, like in these areas, because this is what these areas were created for: population control, prison labor, like to keep this cycle perpetuated. This is what it was created for. So of course they're going to pretend like Chicago. But as you've seen over this weekend, over every weekend, bro, why shouldn't these people deserve to live in peace? Why shouldn't your grandma be able to walk down the street without worrying about them niggas? Why shouldn't little kids be able to walk around and play without getting shot to death? Why couldn't you sit in your car without niggas shooting your car up? And them people deserve to be safe, bro. Fuck the criminals, bro.
Exactly. But the reality also is this. There's some hard truths that a lot of people may not be ready to confront when you talk about solving this problem. Grandma may not be ready to snitch on her grandson, who she know is out here terrorizing the city, who she know is up to no good. And you can't say you want better for your community while at the same time harboring and protecting those who harm your community the most. But what do you have to say? Questions, comments, thoughts, and your feedback, go ahead and drop them down below. You know, I appreciate every time you guys take the time to chime in. Don't forget, you enjoy any part of the content, make sure you smash that like button. For more, don't forget, subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.